Be excellent to each other and party on, dudes. I'm back with a new Legacy League. We are going to be playing Bug Frog Midrange. I say midrange because I've taken out some of the tempo elements and I've minimized them. We've got one Spell Pierce, we've got one Stifle, we've got 2 Dazes. That's it. Those are the only tempo cards we're playing. And instead, we're playing a third Orcish Bowmasters, and we're playing a couple Shieldred Edicts, which are good, expensive creature removal. And the reason I'm doing this is because Shieldred's Edict is really good against creatures, and I like the idea of playing a little bit more control and a little less tempo-y. So the mana base has not changed from previous videos. We still got all the cantrips. We still got all the same great creatures. Tameo, which is just so amazing. She's been overperforming for me. And, of course, my favorite card, Witherbloom Command. Let's take a look at the sideboard. I was able to fit in a Harbinger of the Seas by taking out one of the Wastelands and putting a Swamp in. I changed out one of the fetches so that we have a 5th fetch to go get Swamp. And then we're just playing 3 Misty Rainforests. And instead of having 3 Ground Seals, I changed it up a little bit. I'm playing 2 Nile Spell Bombs and 2 Ground Seals just to make sure we attack the graveyard. But Nile Spell Bomb can come in against Delver and a few other decks, so it is a little bit more flexible of a card. Let's jump into the match. All right, round 1, we are up against Unstar. We have won the die roll. I'm going to wish some luck. Good luck, have fun, and I'm going to pull them up over here, see what they might be playing. Unstar. Right, Painter. Okay, Painter is not a good matchup for us. It's a terrible matchup. But this hand is as good as any against Painter. I'm going to keep it. My reasoning here, of course, is that we have the ability to force something dangerous. We have Orcish Bowmasters, which is a good card against Fable of the Mirror Breaker. We have a Fatal Push to stop one of their problematic permanents. Yeah, we're going to do our best. But Painter generally plays 6 Blue Elemental Blast type effects or Red Elemental Blast type effects, and those are absolutely devastating against our deck because almost all of our win cons are blue, and when you're paying 2 mana for a Psychic Frog and your opponent is countering that for 1 mana with a Red Elemental Blast, it feels bad. So let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and get a Surveil in. I'm going to get an Undercity Sewer here, see what our top card is. Days could be good here. They didn't start with a Ancient Tomb. I think I'm going to keep it. I mean, we're on the play. If Days is ever going to be good, it's good in these situations. And I think what I'll do is I'll just hold, and then we have the ability to brainstorm. Depending on what their next play is, we can brainstorm and we can shuffle away something, and we can even get a Surveil land off of that. All right. Agatha's Soul Cauldron. I do not mind dazing this one bit. I think what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to start by brainstorming. All right, Witherbloom Command. We don't even have to daze this. We can just Witherbloom it. Yeah, I think that's the play. So I'll put this back. I'll put back the redundant daze. I'm going to put back the Force of Will. Is that crazy? I'm going to put back the Force of Will. I'm a mad lad. All right, so we'll do that. This can resolve. That's fine. And then in step, I'm just going to go fetch my Surveil land. So I think there's a good chance that, well, they can't actually exile when I Witherbloom. They can't actually exile both of my fetches, so I am going to be able to get a land back. But I don't need this one. I'll put this in the graveyard. All right, see what we draw here. It's another fetch, which kind of sucks, but yeah, well, no, I don't even want to play a Wasteland if I find it. I'm just going to go play my fetch out. I can't think of a reason it would matter. And we're going to Witherbloom, and we are going to mill, and we're going to destroy. So I'll mill myself, and I'll destroy. And hopefully we flip like an Uro. That would be the dream. All right, they are exiling one of our fetches, which is fine. Now Witherbloom resolves, and we do, in fact, flip another fetch. But I think I'm going to take this drop just because it is a permanent source of mana. And I don't know. Actually, they're not playing Wasteland. It probably doesn't make any sense to do that. We did not flip a Uro, unfortunately. Opal. They've got 6 cards in hand. Okay, Simian Spirit Guide. All right, so this is why we play Days here. I'm just going to go and get, I'll get a basic island because I don't think it is likely to come up, but one way that I can lose is for them to have like a Blood Moon type effect. Don't want that to happen. And if they have a second Simian Spirit Guide, I am going to Daze again. I don't need to, apparently. Okay, great. So we're just kind of biding our time until we can find a Psychic Frog. Stifle is not the worst. I'm going to play out the land they know I have, and I'm just going to pass. And if they don't do anything, I might put Orcish Bowmasters in and start applying some pressure. Engineer, we can just Daze this again too. Yeah, I'll just Daze it. I'll hardcast the Daze. Oops. Yeah, I'll just Daze. Boom. Even if they do have some way to get that into play, I can stifle the trigger. All right. Now, Borrower is not the worst. I'm just going to play this out. And, yeah, I'll just play this out. And we're just waiting for an Earl to arrive or some sort of engine card. This can bounce a token that they create. Okay. This Engineer, I don't want it to be able to go get stuff. I'm just going to stifle the trigger. It feels bad because they're still going to have the Engineer in play. And I could definitely push the Engineer here. I think instead, I'm just going to, well, yeah, I'll just see what I draw here. But I do think it makes sense to go ahead and put the Bowmasters into play. Bowmasters can, of course, pick off a Goblin Welder, but that's the only creature I think in their deck that it matters against. Okay, so I think here what we do is I'm going to play this. I am going to get rid of this just because it, does have an ability and it could come into play, and then I'll just attack. And I will hold up the ability to hardcast a Brazen Borrower if they don't do anything here, because Brazen Borrower can hit. We haven't presented any blue spells for them to counter. They may just counter it. Another Engineer. Yeah, unfortunately, we can't do anything about this. They're going to be able to go get probably Phyrexian Dragon Engine. If they get something else, it's going to be scary. They are going to have the ability to put Agatha's Soul Cauldron back into play. So if they get Phyrexian Devourer, they can potentially kill us by returning Agatha's Soul Cauldron into play and then using it. Okay, that's not the worst. So the question is, when they return this, they're going to discard their hand. They're going to draw a bunch of cards. I don't think it makes sense to bounce anything here. I do think it makes sense to flash in my Borrower and just keep the pressure on them. All right, so Borrower's coming in. Okay. Untap. All right, Fatal Push is great because I can get rid of the Engineer, which I am going to do right now. And I'll just hold this Bayou as a Brainstorm fodder. I can't imagine it becoming relevant this game, and I'll hit them for 5. And we just have to do this 3 more times, and we can win. But I don't think it's going to be that easy. This is Pyroblast, which is fine. And a Soul Guide Lantern, which does nothing. They may be able to cantrip. If they cantrip with this, I'm going to happily ping them with Bowmasters. I don't think removing my graveyard does anything here, but they're welcome to try. Okay, we are just drawing tons of blanks, which is unfortunate. We've already used our selection, but I'm just going to be disciplined. I'm not going to start playing out these lands that are unlikely to matter. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to hope that we rip one of our 2 remaining Brainstorms. Soul Cauldron doesn't do anything here because they don't have any creatures, but it is scary. All right, what do we get? Tameo is not great, but it's better than nothing. I'm going to play it. I wouldn't be surprised if they had another Red Blast in hand. If Tameo can actually start creating clue tokens, it'll be pretty good. They do have Mox Opal mana now with the Soul Cauldron out. They may returning Dragon Engine, I think costs 5, doesn't it? Yeah. Painter's Servant. Yeah. And this is how we lose, is they're able to combo us because we can't get enough forward momentum to capitalize. So they can add the Soul Cauldron ability to, or they can add one of the Engineer's abilities to Painter, and then they can activate Painter. So I really need to remove Painter. Okay, they're bolting her. I can't defend her, unfortunately. I don't have a Brainstorm. And this also is a wall. Okay, this is frustrating. This is super duper frustrating. I don't think there's anything we can do, though. I think we just have to wait, and I do think that we're dead, though. I think we played this game fine, but, you know, our deck just hasn't delivered. All right, so they are... Oh, interesting. They're giving Psychic Frog's ability to this, which isn't that big of a deal, but they can discard cards to make it more powerful when they attack. I'm kind of surprised by that play, but maybe they think they can aggro us out. Are they returning Dragon Engine? Please return it. Please do it. Oh, now they're realizing, wait, they've got a Bowmasters. Oh, Chaos Defiler. It's a heartbreaker. Unfortunately, yeah. I think that probably spells the end for our hero. They're going to be able to destroy my Bowmaster, and then next turn they can return the Dragon Engine if they want. We don't have a way to exile this. Even if we bounce it, they can recast it. So, yeah. If it dies, yeah, they can destroy one of our non-land permanents. Okay. So they did discard a couple cards to that to make it more strong. Edict is not good here. It's going to kill one of their creatures, but it doesn't even matter. I guess I do it, though. I mean, it's not like I'm not going to do it. They can't return it with Engineer. They can only return it with, I think they're going to sack the Chaos Defiler, and then what they're going to do is they're going to kill my Orc Army token so I can't attack. Okay, well, I can't attack anyway, unfortunately, so I'll just pass. Yeah, I don't think it was a misplay to be aggressive with my Brazen Borrower, because it would have been like several turns before it was useful. We're just waiting around for them to see the line where they can win. They'll be able to, you know, swap Chaos Defiler in and out of play next turn. I can't think of a reason why they wouldn't just attack here, deal 5 damage. I guess they have a reason. Okay. I mean, they could have done a lot of other stuff here. Okay, I'm just going to concede. I don't see a path to victory, and I'd rather preserve my time. All right. So this is the nightmare matchup. This is the worst matchup that we can have, in my opinion, just because of all the blasts, the fact that they have a combo finish, the fact that they can recurve from their graveyard. We do have some tools. The main tool, I think, is Pernicious Deed, which is just an incredible card against them. And then I think Hydroblast. I don't think Consign to Memory is strong enough. Stifle is pretty terrible because they don't have any fetches. Spell Pierce is not the worst, but it's not particularly good because they're mostly creature-based important permanents. The only thing that this really hits would be Blast effects and Fable itself. I think Dismember is worth bringing in because you really do need to be able to remove their creatures. And Spellbomb might be worth bringing in. Daze is not particularly strong against the deck that has Ancient Tombs and what are some of the... They've got Simian Spirit Guide, they've got Moxen. They've got a lot of stuff that comes up very quickly. I think they're playing Lotus Petal. I don't think Daze is particularly strong here. In terms of cards that are not good, Orcish Bowmasters is surprisingly good against them just because it's non-blue. And it can also make it very hard for them to profitably use their it can make it very hard for them to profitably use their Fable. Like they can't use the second Saga chapter, and they can't really attack in because you just flash it in during their upkeep and then ping their Goblin Shaman token, and then they can't attack with the Goblin Shaman token or else they'll lose it. So yeah, I think Bowmaster is surprisingly strong against this deck. It can also deter them from using Phyrexian Dragon Engine's ability, and it can pick off Goblin Welders. This hand is that's pretty good. I think we just plan to curve out. Oh, we can't curve out Tamia though because we have double ETB tap land, but I'm still going to keep this. Really what we want is we just want action. So I think I'm going to start with Undercity Sewer here. We will definitely, we don't want this. I'm going to put this in my graveyard. And of course, there is definitely the chance that they could have a Blood Moon type effect, but I don't think you play around that. Pithing Needle, interesting. Let's see what they do here. They might name Psychic Frog. I'm not sure what else. Do I have any other activated abilities in my deck? I don't think I do. Wasteland. Okay, they chose Wasteland, which I only have 3 Wastelands in my deck. Right, I think this is fine because what I can do here is I can play Tameo and then I have a Hydroblast to protect her. And Hydroblast will, if it doesn't protect her, if they're not playing a removal spell this turn, it's definitely going at whatever they do cast. I'll in a heartbeat, blast Engineer. I will blast... Will I blast Welder? I think I am going to blast this. I think it doesn't hurt to just grab the island here, just in case they do have Blood Moon. Yep, and we'll see whether... not being able to kill their Saga sucks because they may be able to use Saga to go get a Grindstone and then grind me out, depending on what they have in their hand. All right, so I'm going to attack with Tameo. I don't see any reason not to just go ahead and play out the Hedge Maze now. And then we're just going to try to overwhelm them with Psychic Frogs. Speaking of overwhelming them with Psychic Frogs, I think we keep that on top and we play out our Psychic Frog. Yeah, so we're just going to slam Psychic Frog turn after turn until they hopefully don't have any more blasts. They've used one of probably 8 blasts in their deck. They might have 1 or 2 more. Goblin Engineer, again, a card that I happily force, but I cannot force here. This is probably going to get Painter. Oh, Brea's Apprentice. So they're going to go that route. Well, that's fine with me. I'd much rather be facing down Brea's Apprentice than Painter Grindstone combo at this point. Right, so I think first we just attack. We see if they block. I don't think they'll block. Okay, no block. We get our card. It is not a removal spell. I think we probably do want to flip Tameo here. Yeah, I'm going to flip Tameo first and draw a card, and then we'll see which land we want to play. Okay, just a Delta. That sucks. We've got plenty of land here. So she's going to flip. I'm going to use her plus ability. It is worth noting that I can get back the Hydroblast, which I might have to do soon. I think at this point, I'll just play I'll go get a Swamp. I've got so many lands. Oh, wait, do I not? Oh, I've been to Swamp. Okay, so I don't have access to a Swamp. I think what I'll get is I'll get a Trop here. Just in case we draw Uro. And another Psychic Frog, and we'll pass. If they bring out Brea's Apprentice, it does have relevant abilities. Okay, so they're not going to be able to create any construct tokens here, but just because they got Brea's Apprentice doesn't mean they don't already have Painter in their hand. So they got a Mox Opal, okay, and they've got another one. This is totally fine. I think we can outmaneuver constructs. There's the Grindstone. Because they did have Grindstone in hand. Do they have Painter Servant? What is this? Fable? Magus. Magus is fine. All right, so now we have a situation here. So what we can do is Ground Seal's good, actually, but we can't use Ground Seal. So I think what we do, Ground Seal stops the Engineer. It stops a lot of stuff. It does not stop Painter if Painter is their other card that they have. Oh, their own Magus killed their Urza Saga. That sucks for them. Okay, so here's what I think we do. I think I'm going to go ahead and start by attacking with both my frogs. Okay, they just scooped. All right, that's great. So we were going to kill the Magus, and then we were going to do a bunch of other stuff with the frogs. I think after we did that, we'd cast Ground Seal, and then we would just be pelting them with frogs each turn. It's likely that they would be able to kill our cameo with an attack in the following turn. But anyway, it doesn't really matter. We won the game. I think we mainly just won on the back of having that basic island. So I definitely think it was wise for me to go get that basic island. In terms of changes that I think we make for game 3, I don't really see any changes we want to make. Harbinger of the Seas does kill some of their creatures. It kills Urza's Saga. I don't think it's worth playing. Still not sure about Consign to Memory. Counter target triggered ability or colorless spell. So we can counter a lot of their artifacts, but the spells that I'm most worried about are Goblin Engineer and Fable. I don't think this is good enough against those. Let's just run it back. All right, round 1, game 3. We have 14 minutes on our clock, which is great. Thanks to our opponent scooping pretty prematurely, in my opinion. I'm not sure what they had in their hand, but I think all they needed to do was like rip a Painter Servant off the top, and we wouldn't have had any recourse. This is a great hand. I don't like the fact that we have so many lands, but we do have the ability to play off basics, which I'm going to do since they showed me the Magus of the Moon. They're mulliganing to 5 cards. We might win the Nightmare matchup. I'm not going to count my eggs till they hatch. Before they hatch. I'm not going to count them before they hatch. Once they've hatched, I'll count them. Okay, so I think here, just out of respect for the fact that they could just drop an Ancient Tomb and start cranking out constructs, we need to kill that. I would love to develop here, but I don't think we had that opportunity. Yeah, and sure enough, they had the Ancient Tomb. Painter Servant. I'm not going to take any chances here. I'm just going to push it. And the question is, I think I go get a basic swamp here. I mean, now that Uro has shown up, it does make me feel bad to get the basic swamp because basic swamp doesn't help Uro, but we have so much land in hand. I just don't want to be caught in a situation where I die because I didn't get basics. All right, they've got another Urza's Saga, which means they're not going to moon me this turn. Grindstone, okay. I'm glad I got rid of the Painter. Do they have another Painter? All right, Force of Will makes me feel a lot better. Now, it's not a lock because Force of Will can be blue blasted, but they're not actually presenting any blue mana, so I'm just going to drop this Psychic Frog here with Force Protection, and I'm going to hope to start drawing some cards. All right, we may be facing some constructs here. I can definitely discard Uro to constructs. Yeah, I think we just start by attacking and see if they make a construct. They are making the construct. Looks like they're going to block. I can't think of why they would make a construct if they weren't going to block. I think maybe there's rethinking blocking because blocking doesn't make any sense here. Like, I'll just discard one of the many cards I have in my hand that I don't care about. I think I discard. Oh man, it's hard. If I discard Undercity Sewer, then I can play Uro, and I can also play Underground Sea. If I discard Underground Sea, then I can play Uro, and I can also draw, get a Surveil off Undercity Sewer. I think it's better to do this. Okay, so that's favorable. They did prevent us from drawing. I'm just going to go. I mean, the sad thing about this deck is I may just be dead, depending on whether they have another Painter Servant. Oh, yes. Yes. This is what we're doing. I'm playing this. I was going to die. Now we hit this. And their only mana source is going away. And we'll have to see whether that's good enough. They did mulligan to 5, so it is definitely possible they don't have other lands. Oh, that was it. We did it. All right, let's jump over to round 2. All right, we're back for round 2 against Eureka 22422. This name seems familiar. Eureka 22422. I may have played them before. Besiege Storm. Okay. I like our combo matchups, and they're almost certainly on combo. So we're going to be looking for forces. It has a Daze. It has a Spell Pierce. I think this is good enough. We're on the play. I'll keep this. And I think if they're going to be on a combo deck, we can confuse them by making them think we're also on a combo deck by playing out a Verdant Catacombs. So I'm not going to play out Tamayo here because I want to have at least 2 points of interaction in case they try to turn one me here. Tamayo will be very good though. Okay. Island. Spellbomb. That's fine. Alright. Spellbomb doesn't affect me really at all. I'm going to go get a... They probably think I'm on rescam, so I'm going to keep them thinking I'm on rescam here. I don't need this land. I'll just put it in my graveyard. Right. I don't want that Fatal Push. I think what I do here is I do play a Tamayo. And I'll pass. So we still have 2 points of interaction. Worst case scenario, we can go get... or if we don't need any of that stuff, then we can go get some selection here. Fatal Push. I think it's worth protecting her. I will get a Trop. And I will... So I think they're on Doomsday. I don't think Storm would be playing Fatal Push. Okay, they forced, and that's okay. You got my 1-drop. Unfortunately, we don't have any real action going on here. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this out, and I'm going to hope that they get impatient with their Nile Spellbomb, and then I can get an extra trigger off Bowmaster. But literally anything they cast that's going to draw them a card, I will go ahead and play the Orcish Bowmaster here. A lot of rescan decks are not playing Orcish Bowmasters, so that means, they may not be prepared for it. They have a second force. Let's take a look. They pitched a Murktide. I mean, they may not even be on Doomsday, but Doomsday does sometimes play this. Yeah, I can't do anything about that, unfortunately. So what I'm going to do is I'll let that resolve, and then end step, I will go get a Hedge Maze. I'm just going to hope to bin a Uro at this point because I do want to apply pressure. All I have is a Daze, and Daze is getting worse with each passing turn. All right. That is interesting. I'm not going to burn my Stifle, just trying to stop that. I've got another land. I don't care that much. All right, I'll just play out this land, and I'll pass. Definitely feeling like I don't have a lot of gas in the tank, but neither do they. They're down to 1 card. They do have a card off of Spellbomb, but our hand is just like very poorly lined up. If they just untap and cast like a Murktide, we can Daze that, but if they play a land and then cast a Murktide, then we're in trouble. Okay, land number 3. Daze is definitely feeling pretty sclerotic, but they are not casting anything. Psychic Frog is definitely our best draw at this point. Yeah, that's fine. So they're cashing in their Spellbomb. Force is fine. I kind of think we do play out the swamp. We're going to be able to brainstorm the push back when we eventually find a brainstorm. So we have not had a brainstorm. We haven't had any cantrips. Okay, so they're going to surveil. I'm almost certain they're on Doomsday. So they surveilled a Brazen Borrower. So it may be like a mid-range Doomsday, but I'm still getting Doomsday vibes. Maybe I'm completely wrong. Okay, they have 3 cards in hand to our 3 cards, but we've played out a 4th land. We now have our Brazen Borrower, which I think we hold as force food, and then we have Daze and Force as interaction points. They're at 16. We could always just flash it in. I don't think that they're likely playing Bowmasters of their own. Okay, they've got 4 mana out now. Yeah, I think we just play it. I'm just going to go for it. Blue, Borrower. All right, so we're going to be able to attack, and if they're on Doomsday, you want to do damage to them early on. Playing out this Delta gives us access to a Surveil land and Hardcast Force, so I think that is probably worth doing. So I'm fine with my hand as it is. I wouldn't mind getting rid of this Daze and this Fatal Push if the opportunity presents itself. Okay, we're doing 3 damage here. All right, it looks like they're passing without play. So I am going to go get my other Surveil land. And hopefully surveil away like a redundant land. Perfect. Yeah, let's put those into our graveyard. Fill our graveyard for Uro. Okay, I don't think we play this out. I think we hold it. So we know that they're playing Stifle. I assume they're playing some number of days. However, I mean, they could definitely daze our Hardcast Force. So there is an argument that if we play this land out, then we protect ourselves from daze on our force. Yeah, I'm going to play it out. Okay, so they have 5 land out as well now. Tamiyo's fine. I actually am not worried about that because I have Fatal Push. I wouldn't be surprised if they did the trick where they tried to brainstorm after blocking, and I'll have my Fatal Push ready for that. I'd rather do that and 1 for 1 than get the 3 damage in. So I think they're going to block and probably attempt to brainstorm here. Oh, they're not going to block. Okay. Yeah, so when they pass into combat, I am going to attempt to push this because I don't want them to get the value. They'll probably have... Oh, they don't have anything. Great. They're Fatal Pushing here. I think at this point, I'm not that worried about Doomsday because they're so low. And if they daze this, I think I just accept that. But I do want to keep this around because this is a win condition. Okay, so they do have daze. Okay, so yeah, that's a bummer, but I mean these were 1 for 1 exchanges. I have a second. Oh, wait, they're just replaying the same sewers they had, and they're surveilling away a land. That's good value for them. All right, can we draw a decent card? We have plenty. I don't know that this is worth playing at all. It's pretty bad. I think we just hold, and we're basically dead in the water to a lot of different things they can do here. I am glad that they weren't able to flip Tamiyo. Yep. So I've just accepted at this point that if they are able to Doomsday, we're going to lose. But they don't seem to be finding it. So I think this match is basically like bad luck versus bad luck. Oh my goodness. Such bad luck. My goodness. I don't even know how many lands we have left in our deck to fetch. I guess the question is it better to just waste them here? Because we're not doing anything with this land. I guess I play it out, and then I've got my shuffle effect. But this doesn't do anything, unfortunately. Wasting them is not going to accomplish anything at this point. Wasting won't even help on if they get Cavernous Souls, because they'll probably just play out the Cavernous Souls the turn they waste. Yeah, let's see if we can get a card. Can we please get a card that does something? All right, that's good. I'll wait. I mean, they could very well be holding cantrips thinking we have had a Bowmasters this entire time. They saw one earlier. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and play it out, and we'll see what happens here. Probably they'll counter it. Oh, they don't counter it, but they're probably going to have some sort of interaction for it, right? Surely we're not going to get the actual value. Go for the throat. That works. So this is like the most removal heavy Doomsday deck I've ever played against. That, or it's not even a Doomsday deck, and it's just some blue-black mid-range deck. But if you look, they only play combo. They're never not playing combo here. Let's see if this is from a few days ago. And they were not playing all this removal, I don't think. Yeah, they weren't playing any removal that I can see here. So they must have switched to like a super... Oh, yeah, so I'm pretty sure they're on some sort of tempo deck. It doesn't make sense for them to be playing so many cards like that. This kind of sucks because I can kill it, but they can just bring it back. So they do have 4 types in their graveyard. I think it's fine for me to just do this now. So I was thinking these pushes were going to be completely dead, but they're not actually. Oh, are they going to like daze this or something? What are they going to do with 1 card in hand? Okay, that was weird. All right, so I'm going to draw here. I would love to get a brainstorm. Can I get a brainstorm? No. The good news is I can force them recasting this, which is pretty lame play. But, I mean, it does keep the board clear for another turn where I can attack with my Orc army. Yeah, it's basically like it turns their creature into a 2-for-1. I think I let this happen. If they find a Psychic Frog, I will most definitely force that. They did. Blue. Blue. All right, and they should try to return that. Oh, they just have one in hand? Yes, they're not actually returning it. Yeah, there's nothing I can do about that. I'm just glad I was able to counter the Psychic Frog. Because if they had attempted to escape it, I would have been able to daze because I would have had the mana. But because they had that in hand, I couldn't do that. This is a 5/6 now. All right, I think we just cast the Borrower. I think we wait for... no, I'm going to do it now. I'm just going to go for it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to borrow this. I'll bounce it to hand. I'm going to attack. While they have... while their shields are ostensibly down, I'm just going to go ahead and play it out. Blue. Blue. Cast. I think there's a very high likelihood that my opponent has Harbinger of the Seas in their sideboard. So for games 2 and games 3, like I'm not going to fetch any... Oh, I already have a Swamp out, I guess. Yeah. If they can find like a Bowmaster, that'd be catastrophic. They do have the ability to sacrifice Wasteland so they can get Revolt turned on to push my Brazen Borrower. They can also, of course, find a Brazen Borrower of their own to block. I don't feel like we're in a... Yeah, and that's what's happening. I'm going to go ahead and play that, do that. And then they're going to Fatal Push it. Okay. Okay. Fatal Push, nothing I can do. And then when they try to return... Oh, they have one in hand? Oh, this is the one that I bounced. Never mind. Okay. Psychic Frog. Man. Okay. I'm just going to pass. I'm not going to waste any time. I think it sucks that we would lose this game because we've been so far ahead like the entire time. But, yeah, we've drawn 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like, we've drawn like almost every land in our deck, unfortunately. So I'm just going to let that happen. I'm not going to block there. They're going to be able to escape the other one, which will shrink the size of this one. Oh, they have a Tameo. Yeah, I mean, that'll hold the fort as well. Yeah, they're realizing, oh, I don't need to tap all that mana. Yeah, so we're not even going to get the days here. I mean, you could argue that had I wasted at this point, like, we would have been able to daze, but I don't think they would even do this if they knew, because they probably presume that I have a daze riding in my hand. It's one of the cards that I wouldn't have cast by now. So Shieldred's Edict, unfortunately, does very little here. I still think it's worth casting. It's one of those cards where it like doesn't do anything later in the game, so we might as well cast it now. I think what they're probably going to do is sack Tameo and just attack me for a lethal. Yeah. And that's fine. I'm going to let them try to attack me for lethal because I'm going to hope that they attack for 10 and then I draw Bowmasters and I can kill them. I don't think that's likely, but I want to live in that fantasy land. Our clocks are very similar here. So I'll just take it. Go to 1. Don't care. What's their last card? They're making me wait to see what my card is. Is this like some psychological technique where you just like make people wait in their upkeep for a whole long term? I mean, there's a world where I actually time them out just because they're playing so slowly. Like they're playing even slower than I am, and I'm like the slowest player I know. So I don't mean to insult them like, oh, you're a slow player. I'm a slow player. I'll be the first to admit that I think a lot, especially when I'm like recording. I talk through a lot of lines, make a lot of random observations. So I play slowly, but I don't think there's a practical reason why they should be burning clock here. What could they be thinking about? This game is locked. There are like 2 draws that get me out of this. Even if I get Psychic Frog's not going to save me, right? I would have to have like Slam Dunk into Slam Dunk. Now, if I drew one of my many, many cantrips, of which I've drawn 0, I could brainstorm away these wastelands and potentially find answers. It's almost as though they're just like giving me a clock advantage out of pity or something. I don't know why they would do this. Okay, we're back, and they said they crashed. I mean, I'm just going to play it out. It's not going to do anything, but we are going to double chump here. And we're going to pass, and we are going to hope that they don't have removal for these 2 cards. Again, if we draw a brainstorm, we're not in the worst shape. We're going to get 3 cards, but I think we are probably dead. And now that they are like so much lower on clock than me, it does make sense for me to just play it out and see what we can do here. So this will block here, this will block here, and we'll pass. Okay, Psychic Frog. I don't think we're going to be able to get out of this. Uro, green, black, blue, Uro. I'm trying to think of what we draw here. Like a brainstorm, a stifle. That wouldn't be good enough, unfortunately. Even stifle wouldn't save us. Okay, and they're doing something here. They're stifling. Okay, so yeah, that's game. Okay, so yeah, disappointing. But we're gonna try to claw back here. We don't. So I don't think we have any good sideboard cards against them because they're we have carpets. I think carpet is the only card that comes in. I didn't see any reanimation effect. I didn't see any evidence they use their graveyard. Dismember is not super good against them, in my humble opinion. It's not particularly good at killing frogs. I don't want to use it to kill a Netherglyph. I don't take Netherglyph as a particularly serious threat. Like, I know it won there. I don't think it's that great of a Magic the Gathering card, personally. So I don't think his day's going to be good here. They've got pretty solid mana. They've got a low to the ground curve. I think we could take these out. They saw them. I think they saw me daze something. Did they? They should probably presume that we had some dazes in. I mean, we're on the play. Maybe we... Okay, so here's what I think we do. We take out the forces. We'll take out the forces, and because there's nothing in their deck that is worth forcing, like their deck is just pretty uniformly good cards. So I'm going to do that. We could take out the Spell Pierce and we could bring in Dismember. Yeah, it's too late. I was thinking about it, but I think it's fine to leave Spell Pierce in just as a surprise. This would be a great hand if it had land. This is a good hand. I'm going to keep this. I'm going to Undercity Sewer. If they waste, that's fine. Then I'll have a land up to help me with Carpet. Carpet is also very, very good against Harbinger of the Seas because it basically, yeah. So I like the presence of removal here. I think the card we throw back is probably Stifle. Because we're not going to use Stifle immediately. Yeah, and I want to keep all this removal. So I'm hoping that they hurl a Wasteland at this first Undercity Sewer. But I will keep a land on top just in case. Once we have our mana underneath us, we don't need to worry about their Stifles, which they did play Stifle. We don't need to worry about their dazes. Yeah, that's fine. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to Carpet into, assuming Carpet resolves, I'll just go straight into Fatal Push. Because they don't have a way to flip her at instant speed that I know of. And I don't want her to generate value. All right. So they're disincentivized from playing lands here. That's fine. They do have a lot more cards in hand than we do because we had a mulligan. But we have a lot of mana. There's another Tameo. So what we can do this turn is we can Edict their Tameo away, and then we can play our own Tameo. Then we'll have Tameo Supremacy. Okay, we're getting lands. I should have probably pitched that. I didn't know that I would definitely have mana. But yeah, in retrospect, it would have been nice to have just put that Underground Sea in the graveyard. Okay, so I think we're going to go blue here. I'll play out the Tameo. Play out a land. I'm just going to go black here. We're going to get rid of their Tameo. And we will have the ability to surveil here. The alternative, of course, would be just holding this to try to find a brainstorm. If Tameo is allowed to generate clues, she's going to run away with this game with all this carpet mana. But I don't think that that's likely. Barrowgoyf is fine. So 3-4 currently. I'm just going to go ahead and fetch now. Get some value. Get the hedge maze here. Don't want that. All right, Witherbloom Command doesn't do anything here. I'm not going to use the ability now. I'll use it after combat. This is going to be a very big problem for us if we can't get rid of it somehow. All right, so now I'm going to draw a card. I'll just just use my mana right now. We're going to add 2 blue. We use it to correct this token. Fatal Push. Haha, that's great. Wow. Okay, yeah, so we'll just kill this now. And I'm going to hold Witherbloom Command for a subsequent turn. I don't want to use it now. I don't really have any... There's not any immediate benefit to using it. If they play out like a Bowmasters or something that we can kill with it, then I will definitely be glad that I held it. Psychic Frog. Okay. Psychic Frog can potentially jump. All right, so what I think we can do here is probably just attack with Tameo, create the token, and then brainstorm. The alternative, of course, is to just give Psychic Frog so much negative power that they can't kill Tameo. Because they could definitely dump everything in and they could kill Tameo here. Yeah, I'll just use the ability now. I'll just use it for blue, and I'm going to brainstorm now. Oh, actually, I don't want to brainstorm until after combat. Ah, that's so bad. That was not a good play. I think we just let this go. Attack here. Okay, we create the token. They're probably going to jump in front of her. Maybe they don't. Even if they kill her somehow, they're going to have to discard a card here too. That's fine. Okay, discard Borrower. What else are you going to discard? So 2-3. Discard a Barrowgoyf. Okay, now I'm going to brainstorm. They have a force. Okay, they don't have a force. Oh, these cards are so bad. Okay, so what we do is we go that, because we don't want those cards. Okay. That's pretty good. Okay, I didn't think that they would have that. So they are going to be able to kill her. That's okay. She's dead. I don't think there's anything I can do to save her here. I'm going to go green, black. I think I'm going to play this out first. Do we want to cut them off land? I think if we cut them off land, it's not the worst, but it does kind of also cut us off land. Okay, I'm going to try it. I'm going to hit that. If their last card is Daze, which I can't imagine it would be because I think that would be the first thing they would pitch, then we'll be in trouble. But I'm going to attempt to Witherbloom away some of those bad cards, and I'm going to just drain my opponent for 2 life. Okay, I'm going to get the Wasteland back. I'm going to pass. So next turn we can waste them out their last card, and we still have... I think we've got quite a few removal spells left in our deck here. They are drawing extra cards, though. Okay, Bowmasters. And they're going to be able to waste us, which doesn't really matter that much if they waste us here. But make no mistake, they are in a better position than we are. Okay, Carpet's not what we want to see here. Oh, man. I think we have to draw through it with the clue. I'm going to add blue. Yeah, I'm just going to crack this and draw. I know we're going to take a damage and we're going to advance their plan and everything, but yeah, this Earl will totally win us the game if we can get him into play. I think I'm going to add green here. They could have drawn, so I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to play green. I'm going to play carpet. And then next turn, Wait, actually, I'll go ahead and play out my Tamiyo this turn. We're going to get blue here, and we're going to play out Tamiyo. And now I'm not going to waste this because this is going to help me get Uro into play. Even though Uro is going to be painful to get into play, it will be 100% worth it. So I'm going to block here just in case they have a second Bowmaster. And I will take a bunch of damage. I'll take 5. Okay. Another Psychic Frog. That's unfortunate. All right. I'm not sure whether our Uro can race this. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead now. I'm going to add green. And I'm going to add green, I guess. I'm going to go blue, colorless. I'll just do that. That was bad, by the way. That was not the best way to do this. I'm kind of playing fast because I definitely anticipate there being another game. So Uro will die. It's pinging me. I can bring Uro back next turn. I don't think it's going to be in time. I'm just going to concede. All right. We're up in round 3 against the Mage Power, which is an interesting name. Looks like they mainly play Pauper. I don't see any legacy results, so they could be on anything. Like blue red in Pauper, which looks like is a kind of a tempo aggro deck. Assuming they're on a tempo deck, I think this is good. We don't want to mulligan. I'm going to keep this. This is just a good all around hand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to conceal information. They're going to leave them wondering what I'm on by starting with selection here. Okay, Mox. So it looks like they're on some sort of storm, most likely, and we're probably dead. Defense grid. Okay, well, defense grid is not the end of the world. They're probably on, some form of storm because they're playing Red of Flame. Okay, and they're passing, which means we can go ahead and use this ability. And we're going to be looking for a Witherbloom command. It's definitely the card that will be the most impactful for us here. All right. Ponder is not good enough. I'm just going to... It's a trap. Okay. So do we draw it? We don't draw it, but we drew a force, but unfortunately they do have Witherbloom command. So I think what we have to do here is we just have to... we can cut them off a land and buy ourselves a turn, potentially. But I don't know that that actually works. I think it's probably a better play than just playing Bowmaster and passing because that gives them a lot of agency. So what I'm going to do here first is I'll just ponder to see what we get. If we find Witherbloom, we're back in it. This is a shuffle. Okay, Uro, not the worst. I mean, it pitches to force if we can get this defense grid out of play. We definitely could have waited a turn and then just and we will eventually have the mana to pay for defense grid and pitch cast a force, but I think it's unlikely to be in time. We're going to learn more about their deck, and if they're doing like Echo of Eons type stuff, then we'll know that next time, instead of wasting them, we should just go for the Orcish Bowmaster. Vexing Bauble is redundant protection. That's fine. Okay, wow, they don't have anything. That's lucky. So what I'm going to do here... I think it's fine to just go ahead and play out the Bowmaster. This is unlikely to matter. It's worth noting that I believe Defense Grid makes spells cost mana, so we will have Force blue card online next turn. Oh, they're popping it. Okay. That's fine. You just trigger my Bowmaster unnecessarily, but that's okay. I mean, a lot of combo players don't really have to worry about this stuff because they either win or they don't. I'll be amazed if they don't win this turn, though, because they have mana, they have Defense Grid in play. Okay, Gamble. I'm hoping that this is for some sort of Echo of Eons thing. Yeah, it is. So if they have a way to trigger Echo of Eons, we are going to get a whole bunch of triggers. We're not necessarily going to be able to kill them, though. Okay, so they're dumping their hand, building up a lot of Storm. So they're using most of their mana just to echo here. Like if they sack the lines on them, which they should. Yeah. I don't think life will be a big issue, but I don't think are they going to be able to echo again? I'm not sure if they can. They definitely have to win now. They haven't made a land drop. They know that I can't cast anything, so I think they're probably fine. I'm just going to yield. Okay. Yeah, so the game's over, basically, if they don't win this turn. They may not realize it's over, but I will Bowmaster's next turn and kill them. It's Burning Wish. Just Guy's Will. That's a lot of red mana. The Stormcrown's only 5, though. They do have 1 mana of a different color. Jessica's Will again. Okay, 11 mana. 7 Storm, 8 Storm. They're going to need to convert this mana into black mana, or they're going to need to cast a lot more spells to Grape Shot me successfully. Okay. That's 7 more triggers. Save targets here. Save ourselves some time. All right. They are at 2. 5 red mana floating. I presume they have some path to victory. Wish. Tendrils for lethal. Yeah, with 11 Storm. That'll do it. I'm going to concede the game. And we are going to be super equipped for subsequent rounds because one of our sideboard cards for Eldrazi tends to be quite powerful in Storm. And that card is Consigned to Memory. Now, it's not going to work around them having... it's not... I think this might come in too. No, this isn't good enough. Okay, so what we can do... these creatureless decks make it easy because we just have tons of cards that obviously come out. So that does make our lives a little easier. And we actually have room for one more card. I don't think it's going to be Carpet. I don't think any of these cards are relevant. This is super duper slow, but this does potentially blow up all their cards. Like they may have Carpet. They're definitely going to have Moxen and yeah, I guess the question is this worth it, or is it better to bring in a card like Harbinger of the Sea that's going to... I mean, they're playing blue in their deck. I can't imagine this screwing them off a color. I think this might be better. Also, we have to be cognizant of the fact that they could board in a creature. I think we board this in. Let's go. All right. So this hand does not have a blue source, sadly, and it doesn't have a force effect. I think we mulligan this. This has both a force and a blue source. I think we throw back the basic island, and we just open Tameo just to try to get our engine online. I'm happy with that. They would have to have 2... The alternative, of course, is we just go for selection and we hold this and then we have Brainstorm up in case we need a second form of counter magic. I'll keep this and I'll put this back. They have mulliganed. They're keeping all 7. Yeah, I think selection is better. I'm going to get some selection here. We'll see what they do. And a lot of cards in our deck are very good against them. Okay, Mox. LED, I'm going to let this resolve. It's dangerous to let it resolve, but okay. Well, yeah, we have to counter this. I can't imagine a world in which we don't counter this. We could potentially rip a Daze here, and that would be better. Daze, they wouldn't dump their whole hand to... Well, actually, they potentially could dump their entire hand to Lion's Eye Diamond here. If their last card is... Yeah. But if their last card... Yeah, let's go ahead and Brainstorm first. Witherbloom Command is great. Oh, man. Yeah, I think we force the Vexing Bobble, and we hope that they don't do anything here. Yeah. So I'll put back a Tameo, and I guess I'll put this back. It's not going to matter if we don't have an next turn. Now I'm going to force pitching Tameo. Tameo can help me climb back into the game, but Brazen Borrower can actually actively disrupt their mana. We'll see if they go for it now. They may wait. Okay, the fact that they put that into play tap means they're probably going to wait. So now I can blow up their Lion's Eye Diamond. And I do think blowing up their Lion's Eye Diamond is the play here. All right, they did not return. They did not discard their hand, so that's a win. They have a lot of draw 7 effects in their deck. That's unfortunately nothing I can do about that right now. However, I can borrow it back to my hand and kind of like get like a pseudo time walk effect. Do I think doing that is better? So I'm going to go ahead and brainstorm now. If I can find a second Witherbloom command, that's amazing. I don't. So I'm going to put back these 2 cards. Now I'm going to go ahead and fetch. And I'm just going to bounce the defense grid. I know they can replay it, but it gives me a turn to develop my mana. Let's get a bio here, and we will bounce this. And even though it may feel like we're like kind of standing still, this borrower can be cast later and start clocking. So it's not like a total just non-tempo play. Okay, they're recasting it, which we expected. Okay, they're playing another land tapped. Okay, so their mana is growing, but they only have red mana, importantly. All right, Uro. I think we go ahead and cast it, and we'll see what we draw here. Our counter magic is off. Okay, yeah, I'll go ahead and play that out. And sadly, we don't have anything to do here. I think we just plan to surveil and step, and they're going to have a turn where they can do whatever they want. I think had I not forced the bobble, they probably would have gone for it. So I do think we had to. I don't think we had the option of Witherblooming the bobble. Jessica's Will. It's fine. They are adding... Oh, they're flipping 3 cards. They're bad cards. Well, Lion's Eye Diamond is not a bad card because that enables them to potentially echo here. But these other cards are not particularly good. Okay, Simian Spirit. So they are going to gamble, and they're going to go get the draw 7 effect. And I think we're probably dead. Defense Grid is just too strong here in this situation. Like I think normally it's a pretty middling card, but it's very strong in this situation. Okay, so we have a ton of cards, but none of them have text because of Defense Grid. They don't have any mana in play, but they probably have lots of artifact mana they can cast out. If we get to untap, we probably win because we have like so much good stuff going on. I mean, I'm reluctant to say that, but a Consign to Memory has Replicate, which is really good against Storm. And yeah, we would need 2 turns to get enough mana in play to be able to cast 2 counter magic spells against Defense Grid. Okay, they're casting a Mox. They embedded an Echoes. Okay, that's not a good sign. Petal. Storm count is 6. Jessica's Will. They're going to get 7 mana here. It's quite strong. Let's see how they use this mana. I would be willing to bet that they do another draw 7 effect here. Now they've gotten Storm even higher. They're probably doing Reforge to Steel and other cards like that. Burning Wish. Yeah, I definitely sense that they're going to get a... basically what we have to do is we have to hope that they don't find a draw 7. I mean, they're going to almost certainly get a draw 7 off this Burning Wish, but we have to hope that once they wield, they don't have another draw 7. They're going to have a lot of mana floating, though, and they do have enough Storm to kill us now. Galvanic Relay. Okay, Galvanic Relay is... Okay, they're playing another... Oh my goodness, this is like so brutal. They're going to get 10 cards. Yeah, I just... I'm trying to think of what we could draw here that could be of any consequence at all. Well, they're going to get 10 cards. Okay, these are the cards. So, all right. Reforge. They've got another Jessica's Will. Bergie. Another Gamble. Echo of Eons, which they could... Wait, is this... I don't know that they exiled it this turn. Okay. I should have done some selection there. That was bad. Okay, so what we can do here, we could Uro and then counter the trigger with Consign to Memory. I don't think that that's going to do anything, though. I think the play here, with the amount of mana they're going to have a Rite of Flame. They're going to have Jessica's Will. They're going to Reforge the Soul. Yeah, we can't do anything because of this double defense grid. We would have to get rid of one of these to be able to do anything. I think the play is probably just to Uro and then stop the trigger with Consign to Memory, and then hope that we get an attack step. They have 0 cards in hand, but they're going to be able to Reforce the Soul here. Okay, maybe the play is Ponder to try to find one of our... because even if we go through all this, we're only going to get one spell. Bowmasters actually isn't that bad. It's not great. Borrower doesn't really do anything here. I think Bowmasters might be the play, but it's just so weak. They will have to Reforge the Soul several times. So yeah, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go Bowmasters here. Play a Wasteland out. I'm going to waste this blue source. I'm going to play out my Bowmasters, and I'm just going to pass, and there's nothing else I can do here. I'm just going to pass priority until the end of the turn. I'm not going to be able to respond to anything, I don't think. Yeah, I think that our deck is favored against this deck for sure. I'm not sure if we somehow misplayed. I mean, I definitely misplayed not fetching to get selection there at the end, but I think that was like probably not relevant. That would have been one extra look at a potential with a Bloom command, which would have given us the ability to potentially stop one spell. Consign to Memory, of course, being like if we can cast Consign to Memory when they're actually trying to storm, that wins the game. So yeah, let's say hypothetically we did find with a Bloom command, they could do everything they want. I don't think that. Well, they're going to wheel our hand away anyway. Okay, so they're generating more red mana here. We can just admire the craziness of this deck. Okay, Lion's Eye Diamond. They don't have a hand, so there's no downside of that. If I get a chance to put triggers on the stack, I am going to kill Bergie before I put the other triggers on them. They did Ancient Tomb, which lowers their life a little bit. They've already got 4 Storm on the table, and they haven't even used half their mana. So they're gambling here. I'm not sure what they're going to get. They discarded an Echo, so that's probably what they wanted to discard. I guess it's easier for them to cast Echo from graveyard. They would have to use a lot of mana, which I think they probably can generate enough mana to cast Echo from exile, but this is a little bit cheaper. Okay, Jessica's Will. They're going to add a ton of mana here. I think with Burning Wish, I think it's deterministic. I don't think that there's a way that they're going to screw this up. Okay, they're just putting random cards in their graveyard that they don't want to draw. Or they're just building Storm, I guess. Okay, interesting. I'm surprised that they did it that way rather than I'm going to be sure to kill Bergie here. And now I can just save targets and hit them with the remainder. I mean, there's definitely an argument to just target them with all of them. But I don't know. Like, there might be some situation where their hand can't operate because I was able to kill their Bergie and they don't have enough mana. They can only wheel one time. They can't wheel 2 times either way. Okay, Bobble. They crack Bobble. Yeah, Bobble doesn't change the fact that these defense grids are in play. Not sure why my cursor just changed to a hand. Wish. I expect Lethal Tendrils here. Burning Wish. Okay. So they have Lion's Eye Diamond for black. Again, I'm just waiting to see if they screw something up here. Urza Saga. Okay. I guess it makes sense to play Saga in a deck that has so many artifacts. They have the black mana. They just need to add a red, and then they can Tendrils me. Yep, good games. So I I do think that had I been able to clear one of the defense grids, I think consign to memory on the tendrils, I don't know they would have had any recourse to that. Let's go to match 4. All right, round 4, we're up against Vasel B, who does not have any MTGO record that I could find. So I am going to keep this very well-rounded hand with lots of disruption and a Psychic Frog and potentially an Earl for later. All right, Delver. We're fine with Delver. Earl's quite good against Delver. I think, how do we want to do this? So there's the option of just playing out Polluted Delta, and then I think we want to wait a turn on Fatal Push. Yeah, so I'm going to play this. I don't want to get wasted is the thing. Because if they waste me, then they can start dazing me. Top card is a Delta. Okay, that's fine. So this is good. I think I might just grab my island here. I'd love to grab a swamp as well. I'm just going to take this damage. Alternatively, okay, what is this? A ponder is fine. Alternatively, we could just get the wasteland out of the way, but I'm really worried that what's going to happen is I'm going to, they're going to waste me, and then they are going to have the days for the Fatal Push. They're setting up their ponder to probably flip Delver, so it's fine for me to just wait. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm also going to, by not fetching, I'm going to increase the likelihood that there are fetchable card or more lands in my deck. So I'm definitely tempted to play out the Undercity Sewer, but I think what I'm going to do here instead is I'm just going to play this out. And I don't even care what their top card is. It's not worth the information. I just want to minimize the likelihood. Well, actually, I guess it doesn't matter. Yeah. So they are probably going to waste me here, and that's fine. This is going to go fetch the Green Source. Okay. I think DRC is a force because she's just really, really good at this point in the game. The alternative, of course, is that I just hold and potentially hit a Murktide later. I think I'm more interested in stopping the card that I know is coming. Okay. So they mulliganed, so we're now kind of equal in cards. I'll be amazed if they don't waste me here. Interesting. They're choosing not to waste. I think I'm going to go ahead and get some selection because I want mana above all else. I would be devastated if they had days there, or Stifle, but I have seen Delver decks play Stifle, but I think it's less common now that like their slots are pretty tight with Psychic Frog. Interesting. Yeah, that's fine. Shielder's Edict is something I'm interested in keeping. I'd like to draw land, but I'll hopefully find some selection off this sewers. And find a land here. I don't think that's worth keeping. What I'm worried about at this point is I could try to bait out the days on the card I don't really care about. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to play this because I don't want them to be able to daze something I care about later. Oh, okay, it resolved. So I think there's a chance that Frog comes down, Fatal Push here. Dismember. Okay, that's fine. So 1 for 1. There's a decent chance that they wouldn't have done that if they had days, so the coast may be clear. Okay, good. It's on a wasteland. So the best thing we can draw is absolutely a land here. The worst thing they can have is a Murktide, but we do have Shielder's Edict if they play a Murktide. I will still Shielder's Edict that, though. Right. I think it's more important that I get this off the table than that I get a frog going. So I'm going to do that. All right. They didn't have days. Okay. So it's the top of their deck versus us drawing land. Even if we don't draw land, we can play a Psychic Frog. Oh, well, that's great. They got a land. So they're kind of flooded. They've drawn 5 lands, and they only have 16 lands in their deck. And we drew this, which is great. So I'm not sure what they're doing here on our draw step. All I know is I'm jamming a frog right now. And I will be so happy to discard this Uro, which isn't doing anything and is unlikely to be cast this game, unfortunately, just due to us drawing our basic swamp and us getting our green source wasted. All right. I guess they don't have any surveil lands in their deck. Let's see what they would draw here. Red. Lightning Bolt. Well, I am going to discard. And I'm going to discard again. Not sure why we're waiting for the priority again. Okay, let's discard another card. Now, they could have just Mind Twisted our hand away. But if they didn't just Mind Twist our hand away... Okay, so we're both doing nothing here. That's fine. I think the longer game favors me, but they can just rip a Murktide and run away with the game. So we're not out of the woods by any means. All right, Fatal Push will be good later. Doesn't do anything now. And we're passing. All right, this is a great card. I'm going to do it. Oh, wow. I don't really need any of this stuff. I want the Tropical Island, but it's not that important. I'm going to shuffle. All right, I'm going to brainstorm now because I still have a card I can pitch. Okay. I think Brazen Borrower is good because it's a win condition, a very slow one. And it can also potentially tango with an opponent in the air. And actually, we're drawing that Valk, so we can not draw and we can return Uro next turn. So I'll do that. I'll hold Brazen Borrower, and then I'll plan to return Uro to play next turn. Okay, wow, they're getting a lot of lands. We're getting some lucky breaks here, that's for sure. So I'm going to draw my land. Oh, I stacked it wrong. I'm such a dum-dum. Okay, well, yeah, I'm still going to wait. I mean, it's still the best plan is to get Uro back. Yeah, I stacked it wrong because I realized after, like, oh, wait, I've got double green now. It didn't immediately occur to me, so I kept the push. Hopefully the push, I mean, it's not a bad card by any means in the matchup. It still stops most of the cards in their deck. That's fine. All right, I'm getting Murktide vibes here. Okay, Murktide's fine. We'll wait till their end step, and then we'll bounce. Brazen Borrower is just such a good card. See if they have anything to stop that. They don't. Okay, cool. So now we bring back Uro, and I think by the time they get Brazen Borrower, or by the time they get their Murktide back into play, it's going to be too late, and Uro's going to take over the game. So I will go ahead and get another Tropical Island here. I'm going to go green, green, blue, blue. Escaping Uro with Daze Protection. Feels good. And we will exile Bowmasters, Delta, Psychic Frog, Psychic Frog. Yeah, like that. Did that work? Did I click the same card twice? Yeah, okay, there we go. I don't think they have any reanimation effects in the deck, but I don't want to find out. Do they have a force? If they force pitch, this is great because I can just bring Uro back next turn. Okay, Uro's in. We'll gain some life. No to Tameo. We can hold her for later or as force food, and we'll pass. So they currently have 0 instants and sorceries in their graveyard. So Uro is going to very much outgun the... okay, they're doing a brainstorm here. I think at this point, I can't imagine them holding on to Daze. I would be stunned if they held on to Daze. So I think we can push at instant speed if we need to. I don't think that's a good call. Okay, Delver. Delver's pretty dead. What are they doing here? Yeah, I think they are going to play it out just as a 4/4. And now that we know that they don't have any cards in their hand, I'm just going to push on the Delver. It's just mana efficient. Okay, and now this game is locked. I don't think there's a way we can lose. But if our opponent wants to keep playing, that's fine. We are ahead on the clock. Psychic Frog seals the deal. I'm just going to hold Tameo in hand so I can have force on top of Frog. I'm going to play out Frog, though. I'll go blue, black, frog. And I think it's more responsible to hold up Daze mana for force than it is to just cast this around Daze. Just in case they have some weird devastating card that I haven't thought of. Okay, we win. All right, sideboarding plan against Delver. I do like bringing in spell bombs. On the draw, I take out the Dazes. I mean, we could take out the forces. You don't really want to force against Delver ever. Carpets are coming in. Dismember is not very good. This can cut them off their colors. So, I mean, this is deceptively good. Hydroblast is good. And I think that's it. We have to cut some more cards. I think Spell Pierce can be cut because we're more worried about their creatures than we are their instances and sorceries. Bowmaster is not bad. A lot of this is really contingent on us getting a mana advantage. We definitely don't want Daze on the draw. I think we could cut Stifle. If we cut Stifle, we're down to 60 cards. Maybe we keep 8 Days in. No, I'm going to keep a force in. Yeah, I'll do that. All right, let's rock and roll. I did notice that I should have cut my, I should have almost certainly have cut the Witherbloom commands there. I should have. This hand's fine. I'm not going to mulligan against Delver. We're going to hope to cheese them out with these Wastelands and just to control their explosiveness with this Nile Spell Bomb. We're getting a lot of lands, which I'm not going to complain about. Okay, they are fetching around Stifle. I kind of almost want to bait them. No, I'm just going to waste. They didn't play our turn 1 threat, so I think wasting them is fine. Their mana count is pretty low. They may brainstorm in response, which is fine. Like, they're not going to get a perfect brainstorm if they do that. Yeah, that's fine. So I think they are low on lands if they're brainstorming here. Or they could, like a lot of new players don't understand that you don't want to get, you don't want to brainstorm unless you're going to get a perfect brainstorm. So it may be that my opponent is relatively new and that's why they're doing it. But I'm going to be charitable and I'm going to assume that they just don't have lands and they're brainstorming desperately to try to find lands. Okay, Wasteland is great. So I think in this situation, they have 0 pressure. I'm just going to play out the Hedge Maze, get my selection, and they're probably going to waste it, and that is A-okay with me. If they don't waste it, that's fine too. Uro to the graveyard. Uro is quite good in the graveyard. All right, they're going ahead and doing it now. There's no reason to do it now. They should just wait and see what they draw. The mana is already used. In this case, there was no mana to begin with. All right, I'm thinking about just fetching out another EDB tap land just to get them to waste again because they just did that. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do that now. The reason I'm doing it now is I don't want to pass into their turn and then have them have the ability to then decide, oh, I can actually use this mana for something else. Since they snapped off a Wasteland last time, yeah, they're not even letting me surveil first. So now that we have the knowledge that they're definitely going to do that to us, I don't think we need another one of these. I'm going to put it on top because I've already got this Bowmasters and it's inexpensive. And I think it's likely that we're going to get in a situation where they don't have a lot of land and they're going to be wanting to cantrip and they're not going to be able to. Okay, so they do have a land here. They're not playing a threat though, so I'm definitely going to waste them. So we definitely are taking a risk here. We could find ourselves in a situation where we don't have enough lands. But their deck is so land light. They've already seen 5 of the 16 lands in their deck. Okay, so they do have a land. Let's see if they have a threat. They got a basic island. Okay, so I didn't even know that Blue-Black Delver was playing basic islands. This may not be a conventional list. But at this point, I think it makes sense to just go get basic island here. I could get basic island now and Nile Spellbomb, and then just to see if they daze. They may daze this. Force of Negation. Yeah. I wouldn't even bring that card in against this deck. So I don't want to sound like I'm making light of my opponent, because if they just slam a Murktide here, I am screwed. And they may be able to do that. So they're going to have a 5/5 Murktide here. That is not a lot of turns for me to get my Uro out. Okay. It's a 5/5. So options. 1. Play Psychic Frog. We don't think they have Daze, because they probably would have dazed instead of Force Negation last turn. We Psychic Frog. We jump the Frog in front of the Murktide. And then we discard 5 cards. But they likely have Red Elemental Blast, and we don't have any protection against that. And then we could just get completely blown out if we take that line. The more conservative line is to Brainstorm, which I'm going to do now. And if they daze, they daze. Okay, and now Fatal Push doesn't help us in this situation. And I think we can put back at least one of these lands. Yeah, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to fetch, and I'm going to get a Underground Sea. I should probably get... No, I'll get Underground Sea. And now I'm going to ponder. And what I'm trying to do is set up a Shieldred's Edict for next turn, or a Brazen Borrower. Okay, they're dazing here, which is fine. So as desperate as this situation may look, if they play another island and then they play a second Murktide, that's going to be really bad. And that's certainly a possibility here. Okay, I'm fine with Delver. I will poke that if I don't have anything better to do. Okay, what are they playing here? Nothing. Okay, good. We're still 2 turns away from returning Uro. So worst case scenario later, I can always throw out a Fatal Push, or I'm sorry, I can always throw out a Psychic Frog and Chump for a turn. I think the play here, though, with the amount of life I have, is to go ahead and Bowmaster the Delver, because they're going to need... I mean, they could have Price of Progress is another thing that we might need to worry about. But I think getting that off the table, reducing the likelihood of that flipping. They can't cantrip. I mean, they can cantrip, but it'll be painful. They would probably play a Murktide before they attacked if they had a second Murktide. We're just going to take this damage. All right, they've already used a daze. They could have a second daze for my second Uro, but I think it's better to play out Uro and risk them having Price of Progress or daze than it is for me to just start throwing frogs in front of it. This Uro, if it resolves, will keep me alive for 1 turn cycle, and then I can start playing out the frogs and jumping them. Uro resolves. Even if they blast next turn, I will have gained life. Okay, this can also block. All right, we're at a high enough life total that I think, barring Price of Progress, we probably survive. They have 1 instant in their graveyard, so if they are able to play a second one, they may push here. Okay, if they don't, even if they kill this, I can bring it back, but I won't have mana to both bring it back and play a Psychic Frog. Grafdigger's Cage. It can prevent me from recasting Uro. And I don't have an easy way to destroy it. Okay, so they don't have a lot going on over there. They're going to attack here. All right, did we make it? If we are able to successfully start attacking with Uro, I feel like we'll be in a very strong position. And it looks like that's what's happening. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have double blockers this turn, but I am going to go ahead and start by attacking. Heaven forbid they have like a Orcish Bowmaster or something. I want to have my mana up to be able to ping it. Okay. No land here. Okay. And what I'm going to do here immediately is I am going to borrower it. Borrower it. It's such a weird phrase. Yeah, I'll borrower it back to hand. When it comes down, it's only going to be a 4/4. And then I think I use the remaining mana to cast Tamiyo around Daze. And now they're going to have to do a lot to kill me. And even Price of Progress won't kill me here. They would need Price of Progress plus Bolt to kill me. That's fine. I'm glad that's not aimed at me. That does show me how close I was to death. So they are clearing the way for Murktide. Murktide is going to be a 5/5, which is smaller than my Uro. So I think here I'm going to go ahead and attack with Uro, and I can cast Brazen Borrower to block Murktide. They're probably not going to block here. Okay. I'd be amazed if they blocked here. That would be a bad play. Yeah, and I think what I do is I play both the Frog and the Borrower. So I've got like double blockers. Blue, colorless, cast. All right, and I don't think we can lose anymore. They could potentially like Red Blast, Uro. I'm trying to think of what they could do. Well, this is going to kill them. Yeah. All right. Yeah. And they're not conceding. I'm not sure if they did this intentionally or if they just forgot about Bowmasters, but yeah, the game's over. Okay, and they have conceded. All right, let's go to round 5. Fighting for the positive record after an unfortunate matchup with, or not an unfortunate matchup. I think it was a favorable matchup, but just things didn't line up right with our counter magic, and maybe I made bad plays. Going back to that game against, I guess the Epic Gamble is probably how you would describe that deck. Yeah, I think the smart thing to do, should I be able to remove the defense grid, would be, and I wasn't able to remove it. Yeah, I could see sailing around in the sky out my window. It's pretty epic. Miracle. All right, so we'll be back for round 5 in just a moment. We're back for round 5 against Armifice. We have not won the die roll. We have an extremely slow hand. They have one league with 8 cast a few months ago. So assuming they're on 8 cast, this is actually pretty good because Orcish Bowmaster is like the single reason why 8 cast kind of fell out. And I do like the ability to return Uro. I'm going to keep this with the hope that they're on 8 cast and not on something else. Okay, 8 cast. Pithing Needle comes down. I don't know what they're going to name blindly. Probably Wasteland. I would say Polluted Delta would be a pretty good name these days. Wasteland, okay. I think Polluted Delta is the most played land in Legacy. Other than Wasteland, of course. Okay, so I'm just going to... I don't think they have Wasteland. I don't have anything else going on. There might be a situation where I'll feel dumb because I have to bounce Hedge Maze back with Daze. So I think what I'll do is I'll play out Polluted Delta with the intention of grabbing my Surveil land. Okay. Yeah, that makes perfect sense why you would name Wasteland now. I can't do anything about this. Let's see what they flip. They did flip Glaring Fleshraker, terrifying. Lava Spur Boots. If this resolves, they do get to immediately use Emery, and they can return Mishra's Bauble. I think I counter this. So I think I'm going to get the selection first. What do we get? We don't want that. So I'll bounce, and now I'll just bounce. Or, yeah, I'll bounce. I wouldn't normally counter this card, but it is going to be very powerful with the Urza Saga, and it's just going to give them basically a free card. So yeah, I'm definitely wanting to draw Fatal Push right now. That's not what I wanted to draw. Okay, so I think we probably lost the game just because we're so far behind tempo-wise. At this point, there's no problem in me just replaying this. I'm not going to use it for anything. See if I can dump another land in the graveyard. That I'm not going to dump. This may actually be good enough to do some serious damage to them. My hope is that they try to return something other than Mishra's Bauble. If they try to return Mishra's Bauble, then sadly I'm not going to be able to get the free ping off Bowmaster, but if they decide to return Lava Spore Boots or something like that first, then I can potentially get the use out of it. I think what they're going to do... Oh, Glaring Fleshraker. Yeah. This card is ridiculous. I do think that it's possible that this gets banned. This is definitely the most powerful card in the Eldrazi deck. So now they have the Bauble. They're going to crack it. They've got tons of mana. And I'm pretty sure we're out of the game. They're chalicing for 0. Are they just going to cast a chalice for 0? That's bad against their own deck. Oh, they're going to pay 2. Okay, that's fine. I don't currently have any 1-drops, but I do have quite a few in my deck, so that's potentially bad. Yeah. They're going to get a card during their upkeep, and I can't punish it, and I am going to get run over by this thing. Like, it's going to do so much damage to me. It's not even funny. They're going to be able to get... is it whenever you cast a colorless spell? Okay. We drew... What did we draw for the turn? Okay, here's our draw. It's a Psychic Frog we already knew about. I think what we do here... We could cast Psychic Frog and just hope that they don't have removal. Actually, I think that's the play. We play Psychic Frog. We be ready to dump like a ton of our lands, a ton of our hand. They do have the ability to go get the Aether Spellbomb, and they could bounce this back to hand. So we're not going to dump anything into this until we know what's coming out of Urza Saga. Okay, so they're making a construct here. It's pretty big. Yeah, so we get pinged from that. We're going to get pinged when the other... yeah. If the other thing's an artifact, it's not. So this is... Wow, they're playing 2 needles. Okay, they're probably going to name Psychic Frog here. Yep. It's fine. Mox Opal. We'll take a ping here. They've got tons of mana. They're returning the Bauble. Okay. That's fine. So we are going to kill Glaring Fleshraker here if they draw off Bauble. I think killing... I mean, it's crazy, but I do think killing Glaring Fleshraker is even more important than killing Emery at this point. They're going to attack first. Oh, I was just attacking with that. I will take it. I'm going to hold out hope that my Psychic Frog can do something this game. If we rip a Witherbloom command, we're not going to do it this turn, but next turn. What are they casting here? Okay, this is scary. A Chalice for 2. All right, I'm pretty sure we've lost. I'm just going to skip. All right, that was a handling. 2 Pithing Needles. Interesting. Like, I didn't realize 2 Pithing Needles was ever something that a cast plays, but yeah, I mean, that was a very powerful start. Cards that are coming in. I most definitely Pernicious Deed. Ground Seal is not terrible because it does turn off Emery. Their deck is blue, but this does shut off. That's not worth playing. Consign to Memory, probably worth playing. Is it worth playing all of them? I kind of think it is. Cards that are not good here. Daze is pretty famously bad against Stompy decks. Stifle, they're not even playing fetch lands. Spell Pierce, we're not trying to stop spells, we're trying to stop creatures. Other cards that we can cut. I don't feel comfortable cutting any of our removal. I think we cut a couple Ponders because it's a blue card that gets countered by Chalice. This gets countered by Chalice, but we can replicate it. I mean, assuming we have just Buku's the mana, but I still think it's all right. I think everything else here is defensible. Shieldred's Edict is pretty damn costly. I feel like we could cut that. Maybe we bring in a Dismember and we cut one of these. Yeah. All right. We are on the play in match 5, game 2. This hand, sadly, it would be great, but I'm not going to keep a hand like this. I need colored mana. It's mulligan. This is much better. And in fact, I think this is great. We don't need all these lands. I'm going to keep it. I'm going to put back the Underground Sea. Now, I haven't played against ACAS in a long time. It is totally possible that they themselves are playing Harbinger of the Sea. I don't think they'd be doing that in a deck that I don't think they'd be doing that in a deck that plays Urza Saga, but I could be wrong. Okay, Tomb. Are they going to chalice me? Unlicensed Hearse. That does shut off the Aeroplan, doesn't it? Yep, it's good. It's another thing that'll be blown up when I eventually pop Deed. All right, let's surveil. Sadly, anything I surveil here is probably going to end up in under the hearse, but it's better than drawing bad cards. I mean, that is a use for Uro. I want to be more enthusiastic. Like that is very much a defensive card. We're on the play here. Okay, and here I'm going to just plan to fetch again, get the blue-black surveil land. All right, 4 mana. What is this? This is probably Fleshraker. Yep. Luckily, it's going to die when I pop Deed in like 3 turns. Soul-Guide Lantern. More redundant graveyard hate. They should actually activate Unlicensed Hearse in response to this. Otherwise, they're going to not be able to put stuff under it. Okay. I guess they want to keep it up for some reason. Okay, Opal. Doing more damage to me here. Bobble. Yep. I'm taking a lot of damage, and they're generating a ton of mana. This Glaring Fleshraker card is a problem, I'm telling you. It's like a problem in Eldrazi, but it's like also a problem in Karnforge, and now I guess 8-cast. I just took a ton of damage from those. All right, so I'm going to get the sewer. We're going to surveil. I would love to find a Fatal Push. I don't think this is good enough because I'm going to be spending the next few turns. Well, what can they... After I blow up the world, what can they use to crawl back into position? I mean, we hit the Ancient Tomb, and we do make a significant impact in their mana, but that's like 2 turns away. I think I keep this, though. I'm just worried that they have lots of needles, and that I like play Pernicious Deed, and then they needle. I'm going to keep this. All right. So I'm going to untap, draw. They're going to get a card. And I'm going to give them like a huge heads up about what's about to go down by casting this Pernicious Deed that I can't immediately sacrifice. I'll go get... I should have gotten a Swamp here just in case they do play Harbinger of the Sea. I don't think they do. I'll just get my... and then we're going to go black, blue, green, Deed. Do you have Chalice? Or do you have Pithing Needle? We know you have 2 of them in your deck. Okay, it didn't get forced. They may not even be able to play Force because they're playing so many colorless cards. But Otawara, they have lots of cards they could potentially have. My hope is that they play something like an Urza Saga, which they wouldn't play this turn because it'll die, but that they do something that I can punish with Wasteland. Currently, Opal is not turned on. Okay, here comes the attack for 2. They're choosing not to play anything out, which probably means they just accepted that I'm going to Deed for 3 next turn. Psychic Frog is a great rip. Here's what I think I do. I think I go ahead and I Waste Tomb. That'll restrict their options a little bit. If I blow up the board, I have a better chance of being able to get Uro into play because I'm going to need cards in my graveyard for that. So it may make sense to go ahead and blow up the board first and then to play Wasteland and waste the Tomb. I think I'm going to do that. And this may seem like very quick, but we are getting rid of quite a few permanents here. Okay. Now I'll play my Wasteland, and I'm going to waste the Tomb. We'll see what they're capable of. I definitely think that they can claw back with 6 cards in hand. Okay, Patchwork is fine. Urza Saga, scary, but fine. All right. So what I'm going to do is I think I'm pretty far away from being able to use Uro. So what I think I'm going to do here is I'm just going to play out Borrower, or play out Psychic Frog, and hope that they don't have some way to remove it from play. And then it'll be ready to block. And then the goal is to bring Uro back. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. It's going to be a few turns before we can bring Uro back. Do they have a land? They always have a land. Surely they have a land. Surely they have a soul land, like an Ancient Tomb specifically. Yep. All right, so we're in trouble. Whenever they cast an artifact spell, they actually have to cast it. They're casting a second Patchwork. It's fine. Are they going to attack? They're not going to attack. Okay. There's nothing for me to bounce here. I think we just, because the ward. So I think I'm just going to hold position. I'm going to hold position again with Brazen Borrower up with ward if necessary. I'm not going to attack into that. They are going to be able to get Aether Spellbomb or Pithing Needle. So in response, I am going to, that's fine. And then in response to that, I'm going to use this because I don't want to be caught with my pants down, so to speak. I'm not sure if that's like sexually, that's like a weird expression. What I'm trying to say is I don't want to be caught in an awkward compromising situation with my Pluto Delta out there. So I'll go ahead and crack it, and I will get just perfect mana, I guess. I'll get another Trop. Sure. We have tons of green. Okay, and they're going to search. Before the search, I am going to discard an Uro, just so it's strong enough to survive. Okay. I think the origin of Caught With Your Pants Down is like a Western thing, like he was in the outhouse when they found him, or when the guy approached him with the gun, or something like that. I don't think it is related to like some weird sex scandal. Sorry, I'm just thinking out loud. I can look up the... Okay. Origin of Caught With Your Pants Down expression. Frontiersmen couldn't go anywhere without danger, but a man is bound to his bells, and weapons that were taken along when they had to go so they wouldn't be caught unprepared. Yeah, so it does have like the cheating husband thing as well, but I think the meaning that I was going for was the old Western meaning. Just to be 100% clear here. Okay, so they are spellbombing me. Nothing I can do about that. All right, they seem to be attacking. Okay, great. I'm going to trade my token from this Bowmaster. They're forcing here. That's fine. It sucks, but there's nothing I can do about that. I'm going to go ahead and just bounce this now. I guess it doesn't matter, but I was intending to bounce this anyway. All right. This is coming in. I'm going to take 3. Uro's going to come out and hopefully save me. See what we draw. Something we can put in the graveyard. Ironically, this is like one of the few cards that can't go in the graveyard. So I could play out the Psychic Frog, but then I would... Such bad luck. Okay. Here's what I'm going to hope. I'm going to hope that this leads to a land. Do we get a land? And it has to be a non-wasteland land. I'm not going to complain about getting a wasteland. Okay, brainstorm. Yeah, we're going to brainstorm here. Are we going to brainstorm here? I mean, it puts it in the graveyard. It's mana efficient. I think what we do here is we just play this out. And then we hold the brainstorm as a card we can discard. We can always brainstorm, but yeah, we're just trying to keep them off us. They're down to 1 card in hand. They're doing a lot of damage to themselves with that Ancient Tomb. We can flash in the Borrower if we need to, but they're going to get, they're getting a lot of plus triggers here. And that Mox Opal is also a source of mana. So if their last card in hand is another artifact, we can't productively block. Okay, they're only attacking with this one, which says to me that the last card in their hand is not an artifact. I think we just take it. Yep, and I'll wait till the end of the turn, and then I am going to brainstorm. I just want to see if they tip their hand as to what their last card is. Okay, it's a Saga. Okay, good. So we know that we want to find a wasteland. I'm going to go ahead and do this now because I really do need a 6th card in my graveyard for Uro. All right, so these are all very underwhelming cards. But I do think that we'll draw them. Yeah, that's fine. All right. So what I'm going to do here, I'll untap. I'll draw. And I'm going to start by bringing Uro back. Green, green, blue, blue. Well, we actually want to keep a blue source up. So I'll go... Sorry. Blue. All right, we'll just go green, blue, blue. And we'll keep a black source up too. Now, we know what we're drawing, but... And then we'll exile 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I can click on things correctly. Okay, this is coming back. Okay. I'm not going to put a land in. Okay. I am tempted to attack with Psychic Frog, but I think what's better is to go ahead and play this out. Actually, if I attack with Psychic Frog, then I can Flipper and start ticking up, but I don't know that that's good enough. Because we'll only have one blocker, and they could potentially artifact into artifact. Yeah, I think it's okay, though. I want to draw cards. I'm not going to be passive. I would love for them to block, but I don't think they will. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and use the ability. Play land, and I'll pass. I definitely could have discarded that land to Psychic Frog for lethal next turn. Yeah, and I also could have... there are a lot of things I could have done differently there. I could have... Okay, that's fine. So now this is actually kind of precarious because they could potentially string together enough cards to kill me. Okay, Ancient Tombs are precisely the kind of land I want them to be using. Unlicensed Hearse is fine. It does buff their creatures, but it's not the big... If they have one more, though... If they have one more, I'm screwed. Oh, they don't have another one. Oh, wait. Yeah, the Patchwork doesn't... they're not going to kamikaze the Patchwork. All right, great. We're still not necessarily going to win, though, unfortunately. So we attack. They'll double block it. What do we do here? We want to gain the life. Yeah, I think I'm going to... This Hearse isn't a threat. They're going to create a token potentially... they can't create one without taking life. If we attack with Psychic Frog, we can do 1, 2, 3, 4. I think the first play is to go ahead and brainstorm here and just see what we draw. I wouldn't mind finding a Wasteland. I wouldn't mind finding Fatal Push. Witherbloom Command is pretty... No, it doesn't... Well, it gains life and it blows up. Maybe like Mox Opal. Yeah, I think Witherbloom is okay. I don't think we need both of these, and we actually may play out a Tameo just as a blocker here. Okay, I'm actually going to attack first because I can surprise Witherbloom to kill if they double block here. I can kill one of them. Okay, so they are creating a creature, taking a bunch of damage. Oh, it's a 6/6? Wow, that's powerful. I didn't think about that. All right. So I think they're going to trade here. That's fine. We gain some life. They can't actually even target things with Hearse. Hearse does nothing here. So now I think what I'll do is I will green, black, Witherbloom. We are going to mill ourselves and we're going to gain some life, I think. We'll get the Wasteland back. We'll waste them off of... Okay, this is good. This is good. I'm going to play Wasteland. I think we waste them off of this artifact land. Now I'm going to minus. I'm going to get Witherbloom Command. Wait, oh, I plussed? I meant to minus, damn. All right, well, I think what I have to do here is just play out Uro to gain some life. All right, they are going to be able to, if they create another, okay, I'll play that out. Okay, so I'm fine if they attempt to attack Tameo, because next turn I'm going to I can force anything they play, and I can flash in my Brazen Borrower to kill them. This has been the sloppiest game. I think I'm pretty tired because, oh wow, they're doing it. They're doing it. They're putting themselves to dead against my Witherbloom command. Does this target? Target in center. Yeah, it does. My ground seal. That's why it plussed. I didn't actually even have the option of targeting there. Okay. They have a 3/3. They're going to go search. I'm not sure what they're going to get here because they've already used their Aether Spell Bomb. They might get a Pithing Needle, which is fine. They could get Lava Spur Boots and then grant that power to the token. But basically, I'm not really afraid of anything they do here because I'm going to bring Uro back next turn and I'm just going to win. But I am now worried about the clock because I've been playing pretty slowly, like really thinking out these lines. Okay, Lava Spur Boots. That's fine. So they're going to attack, but it's not lethal. So let's just do some quick math here. This is 5 plus 6 is 11. I'm just going to let it through. It's all going to me. Yeah, I think they just shouldn't have attacked like that. I have Force, and I can just discard a card and kill them with the Frog. They have one card in their hand. I'm just going to go straight to attack here. And I will just discard this Underground Sea here and kill them. All right, that was a long game. Game 3 will hopefully not be as long. Hopefully it'll be very decisive with the decision being in my favor. We'll see what happens. All right, so in terms of cards that I think can come out, I don't really think any cards come out. I think this is actually a pretty good setup. Pernicious Deed was very powerful there. I do think Shieldred's Edict costs a lot of mana, but it does kill stuff. So that would be the only card I would be considering adding at this point. I mean, Consigned to Memory is basically at best a 1-for-1. You could argue that Shieldred's Edict does that and better. It's a little more flexible because you don't have to have that mana immediately. You can hit anything, including the woman that's submerged. What's her name? All right. I am going to keep... They don't have any mana disruption. They could Chalice and completely blow me out, though. Let's think about this. I'm worried that they turn one Chalice and my hand does literally nothing, and I'm completely screwed. If they don't turn one Chalice, I'm fine. This will be a really good hand. I think we mulligan this. This is better. I think we're rewarded for our disciplined mulligan, and the card I'm going to put back is going to be the Island. Actually, the card I'm going to put back is going to be the Undercity Sewer. I want to be able to have Consigned to Memory up in case they do something broken. Also, I feel like on the draw, ETB tap lands, just not where we want to be. Okay, Bobble. So they didn't have the turn 1 Chalice. Oh, maybe they do have the turn 1 Chalice. Patchwork Automaton. Okay, that's dangerous, but do they have follow-up? Yeah, they do. Wow, they got a lot of bobbles and stuff. I'm surprised people are even playing this with the, cards like Vexian Bobble out there. They just seem like they'd be so good against this deck. Okay, so they saw my Consigned to Memory. All right, and they've got a 2/2 Shroud, or 2/2 Ward 2. They're refilling their hand. And we drew a Force, which, it's not the worst. They already know we have Consigned to Memory. I feel like it's better for us to go ahead and cantrip now while we can, because we may not be able to later. Consigned to Memory is an easy pitch. These are pretty good. Bowmasters is slower, but it's good. Ground Seal is the least important here. So I think we'll do that because we're going to get a Black Source. We'll just use our Verdant Catacombs. So I think if we can resolve Pernicious Deed, and I do think Pernicious Deed is worth protecting with Force, we can blow up their entire board here. We can't punish this Bobble, but we may be able to punish subsequent Bobbles. Okay, Soul Guide Lantern doesn't matter here. I mean, it slows down Uro, which is how I probably eventually will win. Okay. Yeah, I mean, they're going to be doing a lot of damage to me here. And I don't even know if I want to Bowmaster when I'm going to be blowing up the board with Pernicious Deed, but I think I probably have to, unfortunately, because I need a chump blocker for this thing, or I'm going to take another 10 damage from it by the time I've blown up the board. Yep, and so that bubble trigger happens outside the purview of Bowmaster. Bowmaster can't help me. I'll just play that, and I'll pass. It's quite possible that when I cast Bowmasters, they do crack that to draw the card. Yep. Please cast a... if there's one getting this. Yeah, that works. Good news is, I don't think they can force this now. So I'm going to go fetch. I'll get an Underground Sea here. And I'm just going to play this just as a blocker. I am seriously in danger here. Just ping them. All right. Block step. Block. If we're able to blow up the world, we're in incredible position. If we aren't, we're completely screwed. Okay, so here is a big decision point. So what we could do is we could push either of these. If we push this, then we guarantee that we're going to be able to deed next turn, but we're probably going to take another hit. The problem with just casting this is if their last card is force, or if it's whatever it's called, like they stop my deed, and what is the worst case scenario if that happens? I mean, I guess if the worst case scenario if that happens is we just have to deal with this with a push. So maybe I think it's fine to go ahead and play the deed. Yeah, I'm going to play the deed because if we can blow everything up with deed, that's going to be way stronger. And that way they may have like some sort of card that they're going to use. No, they're going to cast Metallic Rebuke here. Oh, wait, they're just drawing a card. That's great. All right, so I'll just ping them, and I'll create another jump blocker. Okay. It looks like it's in. Okay, great. So, yeah, if they have deed or something, or anything that will stop Pernicious Deed, I will stop with a Force of Will. And it will be an uncounterable Force of Will. Thank you. All right. There's no reason not to attack here. There's no reason for me to not block here. I'm going to block here, and I guess I'll just block here. I mean, save 2 damage. Yeah, I think we do this just because we're definitely going to deed. It's going to do so much damage to them. It's totally worth it. Yeah. Right. If we can find a land, that would be great. Ground Seal will be a good post-deed spell to cast. I think we just pass into their turn and then blow up when they go to combat. All right, we've got 5 minutes on the clock. We do need to play quickly here. Let's blow everything up. They've got 5 cards in the hand. They probably have a land. Okay, it's a good land. All right, they've got a Petal. What else do they have? They've got a Mox. They are rebuilding quickly. Okay. So here, I think what we do is I'm going to Ground Seal just for momentum, see if I can find a land. And then I'm going to hope to consign to memory something good. I'd love to find a land. There, land. Okay, good. Okay, we're going to pass. We need to play quickly, but I think we're in a good position. I can go fetch if necessary here and get some selection. Okay. Ancient Tomb, very scary because, I mean, they can just pull themselves right back into the game here. I'm going to go get a green card. That is fine to go in my graveyard. I probably could have taken that. Yeah, all right, let's draw. Okay, Borrower, quite strong. I think what we do is we go like this. We're going to play this out. This can't be targeted by any of their graveyard hate stuff. They've already used their 1 graveyard card. No. Okay, it's dead. Pass. And my goal is to push their creature before it can attack. It's fine. Let's see what kind of nasty permanent they have coming off of this. But I'm going to be able to push 1 and then Borrower the other. And then I'm going to start arrowing. Okay, that's fine. I don't think there's anything that can stop my push here. I want them to equip, and then I'll push. Okay, they've got an Aether Spellbomb, which is quite strong. They're going to attack, push. Now, when they Aether Spellbomb, they are going to get some time here, but it's not that big of a deal to me. Let's see what I draw. Oh, Psychic Frog is good. So I can Psychic Frog, and I can also Borrower. And then next turn, assuming they use Spellbomb on Psychic Frog, I'll be in better position to return Arrow to play. Pithing Needle's fine. I don't care. They're going to choose Psychic Frog, which is fine. Hopefully they choose Psychic Frog. It's fine. I'm still going to get an attack trigger and draw a card. 3 minutes on the clock. We're going to bounce this. I feel like we totally win if we don't run out of time. I'm going to attack. Draw trigger. It's fine. Blue. Green. Green. Blue. 1. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. We'll pass. We just need to attack them twice in 3 minutes. Assuming they're going to use their tomb at least once. They actually don't even have mana. Okay, now they have mana. I'm going to force pretty much anything they cast here. Okay. They could have like Otawara or something. Go ahead and attack first. Okay, no land. Okay, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just play out a Psychic Frog and I'll discard a card to it. I will discard. Okay. Let me discard a card. I want to discard. Wait. I'm going to play a Tameo. And I'll pass. I don't think Tameo is going to matter, but it's probably better than just discarding a card. Okay. And I think that's game. All right. I'm just going to discard a card immediately. Why can't I? Oh, because they needled it. I've been like clicking it like a fool. All right. So I'm going to need to attack twice, actually. Attack with everything here. I'll play this. Okay, trigger. They go to 1. They can't tap any of their mana. What are they doing here? Otawara? Yep, I knew that was possible. Okay. I'll draw my card. And I'll draw a card here. Okay, in combat. I'm just going to very quickly waste that. And then we go blue, green, play this. And I think I can consign the trigger. All right. If I didn't do that, it would be scary because I wouldn't have an arrow to kill next turn. I didn't even use my Tameo. Yeah, I'll just discard this and this and this. Click a bunch of times. Come on. All right. Their only out is to run me out of time somehow. Okay, we did it. So, very, very hard fought 3-2. Let's talk about the matches we played. I'm going to show the... let's see if I can pull up my league. Okay, so... return to details. Okay, so we lost against both the Epic Gamble and against this mid-range blue-black deck that they played very well. And I'm looking forward to rewatching that and learning from it. But I think overall we did pretty well. I was happy with my play. I don't think there was anything we could have done here, but I do think there's a lot of room for improvement here. And of course, I made tons of mistakes in this final game just because of time pressure and because, frankly, fatigue. So I worked a full day before I started playing this league, and it kind of shows in some of my later games. So pardon me if the gameplay was, error riddled toward the end there. But I do welcome any feedback you have about things I could be doing differently. Like, why did he force there? Was it actually correct to board out days in that situation? Like all that stuff, I really value your feedback. So please leave a comment. And of course, if you've watched this far in the video, please like, subscribe. I'm going to be playing a lot more of Bug Frog. And I'm also going to potentially be playing some Espervile, maybe even some Alurin. There are a lot of decks that I love playing that are essentially like, Ponder, Brainstorm, Force of Will, kind of like those blue shell cards. Almost all these decks are probably going to have Psychic Frog in them because Psychic Frog is amazing. It's a great card. So, presuming that I'm going to be playing those, are there any other decks that I should consider playing? I don't have access to all the cards. I'm not in the creator program yet, but you can help me with that. I need to get to 1,000 subscribers, but my videos are already getting enough views to get into the program. I just need a few 100 more subscribers. So subscribe, tell your Legacy playing friends to also subscribe. And sorry for the shamelessness there, but I would love to get into the creator program so I don't have to constantly worry about getting enough play points and getting enough, because when you're playing with your own money and every time you try to do some experiment, I wonder if Jeskai would be fun, and then you get completely crushed in the Jeskai, and then you lose a bunch of play points and you have to spend $10 and tell your wife. I mean, it's just $10, but it's still psychologically it's it deters me from experimenting as much as I want to. And also just acquiring cards. Don't ask me how much I spent on Tamio. It was quite a bit when she came out, so I could start play testing with her. But I'm having a blast. I hope you're having a blast watching. I hope you're learning from the decisions I make. If you are a less skilled player than me or a newer player, I hope you're reaffirming yes, I thought Be Excellent was going to be punished there, and they were punished, and I'm correct. I hope it's reinforcing and just improving your general sense of how to play Legacy well. Legacy is the greatest Magic the Gathering format. It's always been the greatest format in my opinion, and I've been a lover of Legacy since 2000 Future Sight. So I started playing with Ice Age, and of course I got back into it at Future Sight, and I've just had such a blast playing Legacy, or Type 1.5 as it was previously called, over the years. Seriously playing over the past 2 years, going to Eternal Weekend, stuff like that. I'm just having a blast learning, and I hope you are too. Until next time, be excellent to each other. Party on, dudes.